You won't believe what just went down in the world of hip-hop reactions. The internet is in absolute flames after JRock and Kendrick Lamar's freestyle compilation Surface Stand, let's just say. The reactions have been anything but ordinary. Fans are screaming, timelines are exploding, and people are declaring nobody can touch Kendrick. But behind the hype, there's a storm brewing. Some say JRock's reactions felt a little too real, a little too personal, as if he wasn't just reacting to bars, he was sending messages of his own. And the drama doesn't stop there. Whispers are spreading about whether Kendrick even approved of this freestyle showcase, or if it was a bold move that could spark tension between two artists who've always been viewed as family. Picture it. Friends becoming rivals, fans choosing sides, and the entire rap community holding its breath. One side swears this is pure brotherhood energy, while the other insists there's something brewing beneath the surface. And in the middle of it all, JRock, whose fiery reactions might just be the spark that ignites the biggest hip-hop feud of the year. Buckle up, because this story isn't just about music. It's about loyalty, betrayal, and the shocking moment that left fans gasping. The moment the freestyle compilation dropped online, the atmosphere in the hip-hop community shifted like a storm rolling over a calm city. Fans who had been casually scrolling suddenly froze, jaws dropping, okay? Because what they were watching wasn't just another rap clip, was something raw, something electric, something that felt almost too intense to be a coincidence. JRock sat there, his eyes locked on every word Kendrick was spitting. But the way he reacted, shaking his head, laughing, throwing his hands in the air, didn't look like simple admiration. It looked like recognition, as if each bar was aimed at him, as if this wasn't just Kendrick freestyling, but Kendrick speaking through him. People online immediately noticed. Comments flooded in within minutes. Some were in awe, writing things like, "This is legendary JRock and Kendrick on the same frequency," while others whispered, "Hold up. Why does this feel personal? Is there something going on between them we don't know about?" The whispers quickly grew into speculation. Threads popped up overnight, with fans dissecting every single expression on JRock's face. The tilt of his head here, the sudden pause there, the clenched fist when Kendrick dropped a particularly sharp line. Every reaction was turned into a meme, into a theory, into a supposed clue about a deeper story. But behind the scenes, insiders began leaking little details that poured gasoline on the fire. One source claimed that JRock hadn't just decided to film his reaction on a whim. He had planned it, rehearsed it, and maybe even anticipated the exact lines Kendrick would drop. That kind of suggestion was enough to send the fanbase into meltdown. If true, it meant the freestyle wasn't just spontaneous artit, was a coded conversation between two men with a history far deeper than anyone had realized. Look, Kendrick's been carrying the weight of being untouchable for years. One anonymous producer was quoted saying, "But JRock knows the man behind the myth. And sometimes, when you know someone that well, you can't help but let your emotions spill out, even if it looks like you're just vibing." Meanwhile, people close to the Teed circle started dropping cryptic messages online. One cousin of a crew member tweeted, "Funny how people don't realize some reactions aren't just reactions." The post was deleted within minutes, but screenshots had already spread like wildfire. And then came the twist that sent everyone into pure chaos. During one part of the freestyle, Kendrick dropped a line about loyalty, about how snakes sometimes hide in plain sight, and JRock leaned back, covered his mouth, and stared at the camera like he'd just seen a ghost. Fans replayed that moment endlessly. Some said JRock was just caught up in the genius of the line, while others insisted his expression screamed guilt, or maybe recognition of something deeper. Double quotes, "Yo, I swear JRock looked like Kendrick was talking directly to him," one fan tweeted, racking up thousands of likes. The way he froze, that wasn't just appreciation, that was personal. To make matters worse, family members started weighing in. A relative of JRock posted on Facebook, "Y'all don't even know the half of it." If you did, you wouldn't be laughing right now. Again, the post was quickly taken down, but not before people began speculating that there was family drama connected to all of this. Suddenly, it wasn't just about music anymore. It was about trust, about bonds, about whether something sacred had been broken. And in the middle of all this noise, JRock himself posted a cryptic Instagram story. It was a black screen with just 4 words. Real ones, no truth, nothing else. No explanation, no follow-up. The internet lost its mind. What truth? Who were the real ones? Was he sending a message to Kendrick, to fans, or to someone else entirely? In living rooms, barbershops, and college dorms, the freestyle became the hottest topic of debate. Friends argued until voices rose. Some said Kendrick and JRock were just feeding the culture, giving fans something to talk about. Others swore this was the beginning of a fracture that could split not just their friendship, but the entire Teed family. By the end of the week, things escalated even further. An old interview resurfaced where JRock hinted that he sometimes felt overshadowed in the crew, like no matter how hard he worked, Kendrick would always be seen as the golden one. In that clip, JRock had laughed it off, saying, "That's my brother though. We all shine in our own way." But now, replayed in the context of his explosive reactions, it sounded less like a joke and more like a confession. Emotions ran high among fans. Some defended JRock, saying he had every right to feel how he felt. Others accused him of being jealous, of using the freestyle to finally air out unspoken feelings. Twitter was split into factions, hashtags trending like #LoyaltyTested and #NobodyTouchesKDOT. The community wasn't just watching drama, they were living in it. And then came the interviews. A radio host who's been close to the West Coast scene for years claimed on air that he'd spoken to someone in Kendrick's camp. And the word was Kendrick wasn't happy about the way the freestyle had been packaged. He didn't expect it to blow up like this, the host said, his tone heavy with implication. Kendrick feels like his art is being turned into a spectacle he never intended. That revelation shook everyone. Kendrick himself wasn't on board. What did that mean for his relationship with JRock? Was the freestyle compilation a tribute, or was it a betrayal disguised as admiration? Fans debated endlessly, each side more passionate than the last. Throughout all of this, Kendrick remained silent. Not a tweet, not an interview, not even a subtle like on social media. His silence only made things worse, leaving room for speculation to grow unchecked. JRock, on the other hand, stayed active, posting gym clips, studio shots, and the occasional cryptic caption. The contrast was impossible to ignore. One man retreating into mystery, the other leaning into the spotlight. As the days turned into weeks, one thing became clear: the drama was no longer confined to fans. Insiders claimed heated arguments had erupted behind closed doors. One producer allegedly walked out of a session after tensions boiled over between the camps. Another insider whispered that Kendrick's family had advised him to keep his circle tighter than ever. The family was left divided, some urging reconciliation, others warning that trust once broken could never be repaired. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get any more dramatic, a leaked audio clip surfaced online. It was short, scratchy, and unclear, but in it, a voice that sounded a lot like JRock could be heard saying, "People gonna see the truth soon enough." The clip ended abruptly, but it was enough to reignite the fire. Fans dissected it endlessly, asking, was this proof of a deeper conflict? Or was it just another layer of hype in a game built on perception? As the speculation reached fever pitch, the stage was set for what would come next, because if part 1 had been about whispers, part 2 was about to bring full-blown confrontations into the light. The whispers had already shaken the foundation, but nothing prepared fans for the explosion that followed. The leaked audio clip wasn't even 24 hours old before bloggers, Podcasters and reaction channels turned it into the centerpiece of heated debates. But what truly pushed everything over the edge was when a well-known West Coast DJ claimed live on air that he'd received a call from someone close to the circle who said Kendrick felt blindsided. According to the DJ, Kendrick allegedly said, "If family don't move with you, sometimes they're moving against you. The internet erupted. That one line, whether real or fabricated, became the spark for a full-scale storm. Fans began tweeting it with captions like, "Did he just confirm the tension?" And Kendrick never talks, so if this is true, it's huge. Some defended JRock, saying he would never betray someone he's called a brother, while others swore this was the first crack in a friendship that had always seemed unbreakable. Emotions ran high, and soon the fans themselves became part of the drama. 2 fan pages dedicated to teed artists ended up in a public war on Twitter. One side accused the other of protecting Kendrick at all costs while ignoring the possibility that JRock had been sidelined for years. Screenshots of private DMs leaked, showing admins of these pages insulting each other with lines like, "You're blinded by the K.hype. And you don't care about the truth, you just care about the myth." What started as music discourse turned into a toxic battlefield where friendships among fans themselves were breaking apart as the digital world burned. Things in real life began heating up too. JRock was spotted leaving a studio late at night, looking visibly tense, his hood pulled low, refusing to answer questions from paparazzi. When asked directly if the freestyle had caused problems between him and Kendrick, he simply smirked, shook his head, and walked away. That smirk was enough to spark thousands of theories. Was it arrogance? Was it confidence that he had nothing to hide? Or was it the look of a man holding secrets too heavy to reveal? Then came the betrayal twist no one saw coming. An old friend of both Kendrick and JRock, a man who had been part of their early grind before fame, suddenly appeared on Instagram Live spilling tea. His words were messy, emotional, and dripping with resentment. "Man, y'all don't even know. This ain't new. It's tension been there since back in the day. It's always been about who's the leader, who gets the spotlight." Kendrick got the crown, no doubt, but JRock ain't never stopped feeling like he deserved more respect. That freestyle, that reaction, y'all thought it was fun and games, but nah, that's personal. Trust me. Viewers watched in shock as he went on, voice cracking at times. Families fight, right? But when it's public like this, the whole world watches. Y'all just now seeing it, but some of us seen it coming for years. Those words spread like wildfire, screenshotted and reposted everywhere, while some dismissed him as clout chasing. Others pointed to his history with the 2 men and said there was no way he'd make this up. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. This wasn't just about a freestyle anymore, it was about a decade of unspoken tension bubbling to the surface. The pressure on both Kendrick and JRock grew unbearable. Kendrick, still silent, was painted by some as cold and distant, refusing to address the storm. JRock, more visible but still cryptic, posted another Instagram story. This time, it was a picture of him in the studio, the caption reading, "Sometimes silence says it all." Fans immediately debated whether he was talking about Kendrick's silence or his own decision not to directly explain the situation. Friends close to the 2 artists reportedly began taking sides. One insider claimed arguments had broken out in private group chats, with some telling JRock to chill before things went too far, and others urging him to keep pushing because the truth deserves light. Allegedly, one heated exchange ended with someone saying, "If you break the brotherhood, there's no going back." The tension reached a boiling point when Kendrick's cousin, someone who had always stayed quiet, posted a vague tweet. "Loyalty isn't about words, it's about actions." That was it. No names, no context, just that one line. But everyone knew who it was about. Within minutes, fans dragged JRock into the conversation, accusing him of disloyalty. Hashtags like #loyalty over clout began trending. JRock single quotes as supporters fired back just as hard, digging up every time he had publicly praised Kendrick every moment, where he had supported him in interviews and performances. "Don't y'all dare question his loyalty," one fan wrote. JRock carried the squad when nobody was looking. Don't erase his history. The fandom was in chaos, divided down the middle, but nothing compared to the night of the club's sighting. A blurry video surfaced showing JRock and Kendrick allegedly at the same venue. So they weren't captured together. Witnesses swore they saw the two exchange words near the VIP section. One witness told a gossip site it wasn't friendly. Their body language was tense, arms crossed, faces serious. They said a few words, then went separate ways. The energy was heavy. Suddenly, headlines screamed, "Kendrick and JRock face off in heated club encounter." Although no clear video evidence existed of the actual exchange, the story was too juicy for anyone to ignore. Within hours, fake transcripts of their supposed argument began circulating. Some claimed Kendrick told JRock, "Don't play with my name." Others swore JRock had snapped back, "You think you're untouchable." Whether true or not, the idea of a confrontation between the two brothers turned rivals sent the internet into meltdown. Podcasts dissected every rumor. YouTubers created dramatized reenactments. And fans begged for one of them to finally speak publicly. But once again, Kendrick remained silent. His refusal to address the issue only deepened the suspense, making fans wonder what he was really thinking behind closed doors. Meanwhile, the impact on their families was becoming undeniable. Insiders whispered that holidays and family gatherings had grown tense, with relatives afraid to bring up the situation. One family friend claimed, "It's sad, man. Everybody's divided." Some people are saying, "Leave it alone." Others saying, "This is bigger than just music. It's tearing folks apart." And as if the drama wasn't enough, rumors began swirling that a diss track might be on the way. One anonymous engineer hinted that he had heard something in the studio that sounded like direct shots being fired. The very possibility sent shockwaves through the community. Could Kendrick and JRock, once inseparable, really take their feud to wax? Fans debated endlessly, with some praying it wasn't true and others eagerly waiting for the clash. But before any music dropped, before any diss was confirmed, another twist arrived. A private group chat screenshot leaked, allegedly showing members of their extended crew arguing about the situation. In the screenshot, one person typed, "If y'all knew the real story, you'd pick sides quick." Another replied, "Stop leaking. This is family business." Though unverified, the leak felt like confirmation that this was no longer just fan speculation. Something real was happening behind the scenes, and everyone could feel it. The weight of years of loyalty, brotherhood, and shared history was now tangled in suspicion, betrayal, and unspoken words. And as fans braced for what would come next, one question hung heavy in the air. Would this storm end in reconciliation or total destruction? The answer was about to unfold in the next chapter, where silence would finally break. And the truth, whatever it was, would begin to spill out for the whole world to see. For weeks, the silence felt unbearable. Fans were begging for clarity. Journalists were circling like hawks. And every social media platform was filled with nothing but theories, screenshots, and recycled rumors. It was like a soap opera unfolding in real time. But then, one late Friday night, the silence finally cracked, not through an official statement, not through a press release, but through something far more dramatic. JRock went live. The notification hit timelines like a thunderclap. Thousands of fans piled in within minutes, comments flying so fast the screen was nothing but a blur. At first, JRock kept it cool head down, rolling a blunt, music low in the background. But the tension was obvious. Everyone watching could feel it. His eyes were heavy, his jaw clenched, and after a long pause, he leaned into the camera. "Look," said, voice calm but steady, I ain't here to start no war, but people been twisting stuff, making it bigger than it really is. I got nothing but love for K-Dot. Always have, always will. But let's keep it real, sometimes love don't mean everything's smooth. The chat exploded. What does that mean? Is he admitting beef? Bro just confessed. Messages scrolled endlessly. But JRock wasn't done. I'm human, bro. I feel things. When I react, it's real. I ain't putting on no mask. When I heard them lines, I felt them. Y'all can read whatever into it, but I felt them. All I'ma say, and just like that, he ended the live. No follow-up, no Q&A, nothing. The abrupt ending left fans in total shock. Half the internet swore he'd just confirmed that Kendrick's freestyle had hit a personal nerve. The other half insisted he was clarifying that there was no beef at all. The ambiguity only fueled the fire. But while fans debated, Kendrick's silence grew even louder. His refusal to comment started looking less like caution and more like a deliberate choice. Insiders began whispering that Kendrick was hurt, not just by the reactions, but by the way JRock was letting the narrative spin without shutting it down completely. Then came the bombshell. An exclusive interview surfaced on a mid-level podcast where a close friend of Kendrick finally spoke up. He didn't mention names directly, but the implication was clear. Loyalty ain't just saying that's my brother in public. The friend said, his tone sharp. Loyalty is not putting family business out there for strangers to judge. Loyalty is protecting the circle no matter what. Once you let outsiders feed on tension, you can't take that back. Those words hit like a hammer. Fans connected the dots immediately, interpreting it as a thinly veiled criticism of JRock. Within hours, #loyalty trend was back at the top of Twitter, with fans arguing if JRock had truly betrayed the brotherhood, or if people were twisting his intentions yet again. The tension between camps started leaking into music too. A snippet of an unreleased track allegedly recorded by Kendrick surfaced online. In it, he rapped about mirrors, showing envy and shadows walking beside me. Though unconfirmed, fans insisted it was aimed at JRock. Reaction videos popped up everywhere, people dissecting each lyric like it was a confession. In the middle of the chaos, JRock's family finally stepped in. His sister posted a long message on Facebook writing, "People forget. These men are human. They bleed, they hurt, they love. My brother never wanted this circus. It's just real with his emotions, and that's why y'all love him. Stop twisting it into betrayal." Though heartfelt, the post only intensified the debate. Some praised her for defending her brother, while others claimed she was simply protecting him from facing hard truths. As emotions ran high, another twist arrived, this time from Kendrick's side. A cousin who had already been throwing cryptic tweets decided to go live himself. Pacing around a kitchen, clearly agitated, he let his feelings pour out. "Man, I'm tired of this," he said. "Everybody acting like it's just a misunderstanding. Nah, feelings been hurt, things been said, people acting like it's love. But behind closed doors, it's not adding up. All I'ma say is, don't bite the hand that fed you." Real talk. The comment section went wild. Fans demanded answers, begging for clarity. But once again, no names were dropped. The ambiguity was enough to keep the storm raging. With every new leak, every cryptic post, the divide grew sharper. Friends stopped speaking to each other. Fans unfollowed one another. Entire online communities fractured over who was right and who was wrong. It was no longer just about Kendrick and JRock, it was about what they represented. To some, Kendrick symbolized discipline, artistry, and loyalty above all else. To others, JRock represented honesty, vulnerability, and the courage to speak truths, even when messy. Things reached an explosive climax when Kendrick finally broke his silence, but not in the way anyone expected. At a private show, in front of a packed but intimate crowd, he performed a freestyle that had everyone's head spinning. Brothers can fall out, families can too. Loyalty tested by the things that we do. Silence don't mean weakness. silence means strength. But snakes in the garden get exposed by their scent. The crowd gasped. Phones shot up into the air, and within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Fans screamed that Kendrick had finally addressed the situation head-on. The line about snakes was dissected mercilessly, many claiming it was a direct jab at JRock. The fallout was immediate. JRock's name trended all night, with fans demanding he respond. Bloggers published articles titled, "Kendrick Calls Out Betrayal and the Brotherhood is Broken." Even celebrities began weighing in, with some rappers posting vague emoji snakes, swords, broken hearts, adding more fuel to the fire. JRock didn't wait long. Just a day later, he posted a video to Instagram. No words, just him staring into the camera while Kendrick's Freestyle played in the background. Halfway through, he shook his head, let out a laugh, and walked off screen. The message was subtle but loud. He wasn't backing down. Fans were left divided more than ever. Some said the laugh was proof JRock didn't take Kendrick's words seriously. Others argued it was the laugh of someone masking deep hurt. Every action, every gesture, became evidence in an ongoing trial that had no jury and no verdict. But as the smoke cleared from this back and forth, a bigger, darker question began to loom. If Kendrick and JRock were truly at odds, what would happen to their shared legacy? What would happen to the future of TDE itself? And perhaps most importantly, who else was about to get dragged into the fire? Because, as insiders hinted, the feud wasn't just between two men anymore. It was spilling outward, pulling in friends, family, and collaborators. And in the next chapter, those ripple effects would set the stage for the most shocking twist yet. The feud was no longer just whispers between fans or cryptic lines in freestyles. By now, it had seeped into every corner of their world. Family gatherings were tense, group chats were fractured, and even casual collaborators were being forced to pick a side. It was like watching a once-united kingdom split into rival houses, each claiming loyalty to the throne. The ripple effects hit the music industry first. Promoters who once dreamed of joint shows with Kendrick and JRock quietly pulled contracts. Insiders revealed that one high-profile festival had been negotiating a surprise set featuring both men. But after the drama, organizers scrapped it altogether. Too risky, one anonymous source said. You can't put two kings on the same stage if they're at war. Fans were devastated, but that was just the beginning. Other artists in the Teague camp started catching strays. When one of their label mates posted a simple photo with JRock, the comment section exploded with accusations. Oh, so you choosing sides now? The artist eventually turned off comments altogether. And then came the most shocking moment yet, a leaked phone call. Nobody knew how it surfaced, but suddenly audio was circulating online of what sounded like Kendrick's voice in a heated conversation. Though parts were muffled, one line came through clear as day. I ain't got time for fake love no more. The internet froze. The voice was truly Kendrick's. It was the first time he had explicitly spoken words that could not be mistaken as metaphor or art. JRock didn't wait long to respond. Hours after the leak, he uploaded a short clip to Instagram. In it, he was in the studio, headphones around his neck, staring directly into the camera. He spoke only 3 words. Say it direct. The tension was unbearable. It felt like the entire culture was holding its breath, waiting to see if this Cold War would finally turn hot. Emotions among fans boiled over. Outside a club in Los Angeles, 2 groups of fans, one wearing Kendrick merch. The other JRock were caught on video arguing, shouting over each other about who was right. Kendrick's the GOAT. He don't need this. One yelled, while the other fired back. JRock's the only one keeping it real. The footage spread online, making headlines about how the feud wasn't just tearing apart families and crews, but even strangers who had once bonded over the music. Behind closed doors, things were even messier. Insiders claimed that meetings were being held to de-escalate the situation. Apparently, mutual friends tried to get both men in the same room to talk things out. That according to one account. The meeting ended in silence, Kendrick refusing to engage, JRock pacing back and forth, frustration written all over his face. It was like two walls standing across from each other, the source said. Nobody moved. Then, as if things couldn't get more dramatic, a shocking betrayal emerged. An old crew member, once trusted by both sides, sold a story to a gossip site. In the article, he detailed years of alleged resentment, painting a picture of JRock as the underdog always fighting for recognition, and Kendrick as the golden boy who unintentionally cast shadows. While some dismissed the story as exaggerated, others clung to it as proof that the feud had been simmering for years. And just when fans thought they had heard it all, a twist nobody expected dropped. A mysterious track leaked online under the name Loyalty Lost. Though the artist wasn't credited, fans swore it was JRock's voice. The lyrics were raw, emotionally filled with pain. You can't preach about loyalty when your silence feels like knives. Brothers don't ghost brothers. They look you in the eyes. The track, whether real or fabricated, exploded online. Fans debated endlessly. Was it authentic? Or was it a fake leak meant to stir the pot even more? Kendrick's camp quickly denied that the track had anything to do with them. But they didn't deny it was JRock. The lack of clarity only made fans hungrier and more divided. By now, the drama had spilled so far that even family couldn't escape it. Kendrick's aunt posted a heartfelt note on Facebook. "I pray these boys remember what brought them together in the first place. All this noise, all this division, it's not what their mothers raised them for." Meanwhile, JRock's cousin snapped back with a subtweet. "Some people always want to act holy in public, but forget what happens in private. The families were at war too. The pain was real, and fans could sense it. But then an unexpected turn. Out of nowhere, photos surfaced of Kendrick and JRock spotted together at a private restaurant. At first, nobody believed it. But when clearer shots emerged, it was undeniable. The two were sitting at the same table. No entourage, no cameras, just them. The body language was impossible to read. Some said they looked tense. Others claimed they saw genuine smiles in between bites. The internet went into overdrive. Was this the reconciliation everyone had been praying for? Or was it just a business meeting to smooth things over before the feud destroyed too much? A day later, JRock posted a cryptic caption under a photo of the city skyline. "Sometimes storms clear the air." That single line sent fans spiraling. Was the war over? Or was this just the calm before an even bigger storm? Kendrick, true to form, said nothing. But that silence carried more weight than any words could. As days passed, speculation didn't die down, it intensified. Some fans believed they had patched things up behind the scenes. Others insisted the feud was far from over, pointing to the fact that neither man had directly addressed the elephant in the room. Podcasts, YouTube channels, and gossip blogs thrived on the uncertainty, each spinning their own version of events. The truth, though, remained elusive. Had a brotherhood been shattered forever? Or was this just one chapter in a long, complicated bond that could never truly be broken? One thing was undeniable. Fans were hooked. And whether the two men stood as brothers or rivals, their names would forever be tied together in a story that felt bigger than music itself. Because in the end, it wasn't just about freestyle reactions or cryptic lines. It was about family, loyalty, pride, and the messy, beautiful, painful ties that bind us all. And as the dust settled for now, fans were left with one haunting question. If nobody can touch Kendrick, what happens when the only person who can is his own brother in arms? As the smoke clears, one thing remains crystal clear. This was more than just a freestyle reaction. It became a mirror into loyalty, ego, and the fragile ties that hold even the closest of families together. Fans are still divided, torn between defending Kendrick's silence and embracing JRock's raw honesty. One moment it feels like reconciliation is possible. The next, it feels like the wounds cut too deep to ever truly heal. And maybe that's why people can't look away. This isn't just about music, it's about us. It's about how we fight with the people we love, about how pride can blind us, and about how sometimes silence speaks louder than words. In every heated debate, in every passionate tweet, fans see their own reflections of loyalty and betrayal. And that's why this drama has become bigger than both minutes, a story we all feel a part of. But the truth, we may never know what really happened behind those closed doors. Maybe they've already made peace. Maybe the storm is still raging. Maybe the next verse we hear will reveal everything. Or maybe the silence will continue to haunt us, and that's where you come in. What do you think? Is this just the natural tension of two powerful artists? Or is this a fracture that can never be repaired? Do you believe JRock's reactions came from a place of love? Or were they a subtle betrayal? Is Kendrick's silence a sign of strength, or is it proof that the pain runs deeper than anyone imagined? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because we want to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video if you were shocked by the twists. Subscribe for more explosive updates on the drama, and hit that bell so you never miss a single revelation. Because trust me, this story is far from over.